What's up, Pumpkin? What you doing this morning? You're just waking up now, aren't you? What you got, sweetie? What's up, everybody? We're out here camping near Flagstaff, and I figured, you know what? We got like an hour to kill before the sun or before it warms up, and so I figured I'd just throw on a live stream. I know it's kind of last minute, and whoops, let me turn my email here. Kind of last minute. I didn't put up anything a notification about it or nothing. I'll probably post something up. Let me post something up real quick in the comment section on the community section here, and that way that can get other people and let them know that this is here. So hang on 1 second here. Let me put this up. So did y'all see that Traxxas, the new Bronco model that they came out with, that the new one? It's just so cool looking. So let me see. Let me go into my page real quick and share this. If I do this, it's going to turn on. Actually, no, I'll share it later. We'll just do it. We'll just hang. All right. So in the topper, it got down to about 33 last night, but it's pretty comfy in here still because I've got my heater right over here, and then obviously my big heater is this one, and then the little heater is the space heater over there. But it runs off the Blue Eddy battery that I have, and so it gets down to about, I don't know, 50, 40 or something like that in here. Usually stays about 10 to 15 degrees warmer just with natural heat. And then when I kick this on, we turn it on, and then I've got a little USB fan as well that pushes the hot air around, and that really warms it up quick. If you use that without the USB fan to push the air around, it doesn't warm up as quick. It warms up quick, but not as fast. It just kind of takes a while for it to go and kind of make its way to the slide out extension over there. That's what that looks like. But if you use a fan, it pushes the air around, kind of similar to how the fan works in my tent with the wood stove. And so, if you have a fan in here with a little space heater, it pushes the air around pretty fast. So, all right, saying what's up to everybody. A little Klondike Outdoors. What's up? Travel preparedness for beginners. Hey man, love you. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm having fun doing this. I'm back to truck camping right now. I was over at the property, and I enjoy being there and stuff like that. But I think I want to do like a week-long truck camp this week, and so I'm gonna videotape that and kind of make it into a series this week. I didn't put much up last week just because I was feeling I kind of had a little bit of a cold last week, and then I wasn't feeling good. My stomach was acting up again. I was kind of pissed off about that because like about 2 weeks ago, I noticed a massive improvement, and I had changed my diet a lot. So I'm working with some people on my eating and stuff like that. And I noticed a huge improvement. I felt a lot better. I was like, dude, I might be out of this. And then I slipped back into like not feeling good, and I was bummed. So I'm hoping that that kind of goes away. But this week I'm feeling pretty good, and so right now I'm in Flagstaff. I got to take care of a few things today. I want to hit up the storage unit, and what I want to do is I want to check my big tent and make sure. I forgot to do this when I packed it up, but I want to make sure there's no mold growing on it. So my big tent is stored in Flagstaff right now at a storage unit on the east side of town. And then I'm going to go down to Sedona today. I want to go hike some ruins. I found a new ruin on satellite, and so I want to go check it out in person. And so it's supposed to only get up to 71 today in Sedona, so it's supposed to be real nice. And then I'm thinking, I found a hiking trail on the U.S. Forest Service website, and it said it's the most remote hiking trail in Arizona, and it's kind of make a loop like from where I'm at. If I go down to Sedona, go over to Jerome, hang out there for a little bit, maybe go into Prescott for a little while, and then maybe next week sometime end up back at my place. If I take the back roads to go back in there, I actually go by that hiking trail. And I apparently it's a pretty awesome road to go back in. There's 2 wilderness areas on both sides. And one of the wilderness areas is a hiking trail, which is considered one of the most remote hiking trails in Arizona. And so it's only 5.5 miles long, and it's relatively flat, which would be great for me because I'm not 100% have my hiking legs underneath me yet. Good thing is that I'm over 170 pounds now, so that's pretty awesome. So I'm finally starting to gain weight and feel better. But it took a long time for me to feel better. I honestly haven't felt good for about 2 years, and so to feel better now is kind of nice. So all right, let me get caught up on stuff here. Let's see. Silas Finn said hello. Rita Wilson, good morning. Back to you. Harry Brown. Yeah, it's pretty comfy in here. Here's like the whole setup if you look from the corner looking over. So It's really comfy. And then Sierra just always chills right here. I've got kind of a cubby hole for her too, like this area right here. It kicks out a little bit, and she likes to like go down there and lay down there. And then in the morning time when she's ready to get out, she'll get up. But she likes to chill in here till about let's see, it's 6:10 right now. She'll probably chill in here for another hour before we get up and get out. So all right, let me get back to that. Hey, what's up, Chris? Hey, I don't know if you got that comment that I left, but just telling you, if you're coming out west this year, you're welcome to my place anytime. Let's see here. Vincent Johnson, good to see you as well. The Cowboy Camp, are you going to stay in Easy all summer? No, I'm going to go to Colorado. I just don't know when. It's like every time I think about leaving here, I'm like, man, I like the fact there's nobody around. You know, I mean, going to Colorado is awesome, but you just deal with hordes of people everywhere you go. And I know where to go where there's not people, but I'm having fun around here, and the temperatures are awesome. It's like 70 during the day and like 35 at night, which I really like that. And so I'm going to stick around Arizona for a while. And once it gets too hot, by like July, I know it gets way too hot. There's a property owners association meeting in June that I want to attend because I want to meet the rest of my neighbors. And then I met the gal who was in charge of the property owners association website. And I told her, I was like, hey, if you need help with that, let me know. Because I do all my own marketing. I don't know if y'all know that, but like the website and everything, I design all that myself. And any digital media that you see come out of me, that's from me, because I did that. And I got a degree for that in college. And so I told them, I was like, hey, I can help out with the website. And they're like, yeah, we want to make it super cool. I'm like, all right, I'm going to make it badass. So pretty stoked about that. So, hey, Mark and Teresa, thanks. Hey, I want to put that tool in the video in a video coming up. So next time I get back to the ranch and I'm working on the trail, I'm gonna show that tool. That tool works awesome, especially if I take my entrenchment tool and just hack away with the pick part of it, hack away at the hard ground, and then use that rake to rake it back. It rakes it back real fast. So it's pretty awesome. All right, let's see what else we got here. Coach CJ, good morning, sir. Yeah, hey, let's see. Where's my coffee? It's right here. I've got my my mushroom coffee. Let's see, where's that at? It's right here. It's that Four Sigmatic stuff. This is what I use, and so it's really good. I mean, you really can't tell that it's not a true coffee bean. It just tastes kind of like like you'll go into like those fancy coffee shops and the coffee just kind of tastes unique. That's what this is like. But the dark roast is good, and it's if coffee makes your stomach like acidic and gives your stomach any problems, this doesn't do it at all. And then what's in here? It's the additive is lion's mane, so it's the mushroom lion's mane right there, and that's supposed to help with cognitive thinking. So like it stimulates your brain, so it actually does wake you up pretty good. So, but it's the only thing is it's kind of expensive for that little bag. It's $20, but it's mushroom instead of coffee. So, all right, let's see here. Survival preparedness for beginners. Yeah, I'm excited to hit the trail. I'll if I go up there, I'll definitely take video of it. So I'm gonna see if I can get up there and check it out. So Wingnet, just getting started in your Tacoma build. All right, man, that's awesome. Let's see here. I don't think I've checked out your channel. I'll check that out when I'm done. Nicholas and Dennis, be on happy morning, Northern Iowa. Oh, cool. Happy morning back to you, Nicholas. That's what Sid Survival Guide. Hey yo, Lions Man is great stuff. Yeah, I'm excited. What's cool is so my friends Chad and Lisa, we were talking, and I was thinking if I get a wood chipper, I've got some scrub oak on the property, and if you take a wood chipper and you chip up that scrub oak, that actually ends up being a really good base to grow lion's mane in. And so we were talking about that, and I thought, well, I might get a wood chipper, because you can get a wood chipper, like a 3-inch wood chipper. So like, I think it's either a 3 or 4-inch wood chipper, about like that, for $1,100. And I don't have super huge logs on my property or anything like that. If I do have them, I'll use them for construction. Excuse me, a little bit too much coffee this morning. And so I was thinking, I'm like, I could just get that wood chipper and then be able to chip stuff up, and then we can grow lion's mane and all that stuff. So, all right, let's see. Let me get back here. Andrew King, hey, back at you. VW Basshead, how's the weather looking today? I just chimed in. Any RC crawling getting done today? Yeah, definitely. I don't know about RC crawling today. Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah, down in Sedona for sure. There's a place down there. There's a line that I know of. If I go to this one spot, God, I think it's like 40 yards long. It just goes up and it just goes up this like these steps and it just keeps going. And I found a way. It took me like 2 days of RC rock crawling there to find a trail that goes all the way up, like one continuous line to do it continuously. So I found it after 2 days, and if I can make it up to that spot today, I'll do it. There might be a little bit of rain in Sedona though, so if there is, that makes the roads really hard and to drive on, and I don't want to get on those. So if it rains real bad there, I'll just go somewhere else. So, all right, let's see what else. The weather though, right now it's 33 degrees at camp, and my windows, I've got a little bit of condensation in here. You can see it. It's from today or from last night. I did have everything buttoned up in here just because I did have a little bit of a cold last week, and I didn't want to bring it back with like breathing in a bunch of cold air all night because the winds here were like 20 miles an hour last night. So, but this morning it's really nice. There's no wind at all right now. The high today in Flagstaff is only supposed to be 61, and I'm up about 1,000 feet higher than that, so it's going to be cooler up here. So I'm going to bug out early and get my errands done in town, and then roll to Sedona and try to get that hiking done. I want to go over to that ruin. And I know that there's rattlesnakes out in the area that we're going to Sedona today, so I may leave Sierra in the truck just to nap for the time while I'm out there because it's only about a mile off the trail where I want to go see this ruin. So I'll probably leave her in the truck just to make sure because I don't have her snake trained yet. I need to get that done. Out at the ranch, my friends Chad and Lisa, they found they saw a rattler, like a 3 foot rattler for the first time at their place in 4 years. And so they're coming up, there and with the weather changing and stuff too, I think it's a little bit warmer. They're probably out a little bit more. It's a little bit drier. So, all right, let's see. Let me come back here and see what else we got. I've been trying to get camping for a while now. Just gotta find decent top for cheap. Yeah, that's the problem. Said survival guide, you're building out your truck camping. You're talking about getting a topper. Those toppers are so expensive. Like I bought my topper. This thing was new, and I didn't realize how much I was getting taken for a ride when I bought this thing brand new. So this is the ARE topper. I think it's the just the regular, ARE, just regular size, not the high rise or nothing like that topper. And I paid $2,200 for this stupid thing. But it's because it's got the windows that slide, and then this thing comes down. This whole window will fold all the way down, which is actually kind of convenient. But you can find them used for like $500, and so you just pay such a huge markup. My friends and I were joking that we think that the topper business is run by the mafia because they make so much money off it that they can just launder cash through it, stuff like that. So, all right, let's see here. Since we're all good. Well, thanks for checking in the channel. I appreciate that. All right, let's see. Is the Bronco RC going to be coming to? Yeah, I think so. Mark and Teresa, I think I'd like to get that. I was talking to Jason, and he's going to get a RC truck. He was saying, he's like, yeah, after watching your videos and seeing Phil do, he's like, I got to get an RC truck. And so I definitely like it out at the ranch just because there's all the lava rocks out there are great. That like rock garden that goes almost the entire length of the parcel of land. Um, it's got some really fun rock crawling sections on it, and it's like really hard sections to where I found these lines to where you have to do it just perfect to get it all up there. So it's a lot of fun. So I'll probably be investing in one of those here shortly. And I got to get new tires for my truck. The upgraded tires that I got, I've already burned through them because I was like yesterday morning I was out at 6:30 in the morning on the rocks from my place doing the RC crawling. So it's definitely an addiction. So all right, let's see here. Sarah Hopkins. Good morning. Well, it's afternoon for you. Okay. Where are you located, Sarah? No Limits TV. Hello from England. Hey, how y'all doing over there? I've never been to England. I'd like to go over there and check it out. So, hello from West Virginia, Sally. How you doing? Brian Charlton. Good morning. All right, we got a bunch of people tuned in. This is cool. So, um, are you going to get flooding in lower elevations? I don't think so. I don't think there's that much rain in the forecast today. It's just supposed to be a little bit. It's just that the Sedona soil is such. I think it doesn't have the. Oh, I forget what it is that the soil is missing, but there's like one component, one chemical compound that the soil is missing, and as a result, when it gets muddy, it just turns into like the slickest stuff on the planet. Oh, I thought I looked over, I thought this tree stump was a mountain lion. I was like, "What?" But it's not. Alright, let's see. Okay, oh, so wingnut. No, I actually had this, This was actually installed uh, by ARE. It was the installation package, and it's just basically like really thick felt. But I like it because it kind of absorbs any moisture, and so you don't get that rain of moisture coming down on you if if you keep your truck windows closed and when it's cold out. The thing about here on the underside, this is a bed rug, so the bed rug matches the insulation package that ARE uses for the interior here. Because otherwise, for people that don't know, if you don't get the insulation on here, this just comes as just straight up fiberglass. And what happens is when there's condensation, your body expels half a liter of moisture per night when you like on average when you sleep. And so if your windows are closed, like my windows were last night, that's why I have condensation here. Well, there's condensation up here too. It's just the insulation here kind of absorbs a little bit, and then when you're rolling throughout the day, you just leave your windows open like that when you're rolling around, and then this airs out. So it's kind of like it kind of sucks it up a little bit and airs it out. You don't want to just keep it buttoned up all the time because you can get mold in it and stuff like that. But having this is nice because if it wasn't insulated like this, then the moisture can congregate up here and then it can actually fall back down on you. So I've had people be like, "Yeah, I woke up one morning, it was raining on me." I was like, "Yeah, that sucks. That'd definitely be a bummer." I've had that happen to me in other campers, but not like like an actual like camper trailer. I was sleeping in a camper trailer one night, and it was cold out, and I was using propane for heat, which the byproduct of propane is moisture or is water, so you get tons of condensation with that. And I woke up to just it raining on me like crazy. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. I want to check in and see. Let's see here. Would you rather say something? Yeah, Jeffrey Herbert. I want to try that one recipe from Cowboy Kent Rollins. It's like the spicy fried rattlesnake. Only problem is I can't do fried foods now, so I'll have to maybe just figure out a way to bake it or something like that. But let's see here. You can outdoors. I would love to trade some physical work on your range for exposure. Oh, yeah, thanks, Oliver. I'm just keeping that place though to myself. I'm just kinda keeping it to where it's a low profile place just for me and a few other people to go and kinda just keeping it super private, so but I appreciate the offer though. Um, yeah, the ARE topper, so adventuring art. The ARE toppers are good, and like you said you like the high rise, I would definitely recommend the high rise. And so you just get 6 more inches of room up here. From what I understand, the high rise on the area starts from here and goes all the way back. It's not like the tapered one. So that way, if it's flat, you can still put like a roof basket on top here, like what I have, and you don't have to worry about it. The ones that are angled like that, they're hard to mount any sort of like awning on the side. You can do them, but you have to drill into the side of the topper. And the ones that are flat, just raised up and flat, those are better. So those area ones are nice. Let's see here. Let me get back to. I've always wondered how's the gas mileage truck. Oh yeah, so survival preparedness for beginners. This is a good question. So I've got a lot of weight on my truck, and the front bumper by itself weighs 250 pounds. The rear bumper surprisingly weighs less than the front, but the front is an elk rated bumper, like those bull bars from the deluxe bull bar from ARB. They say you can hit an elk with it and it won't total your vehicle. So let's hope I never have to test it. But everything else in my truck here, I think I mean, the topper itself just is like 300 pounds, and then I mean I've got the roof basket on there, and then I've got the water on one side, and then the awning on the other, and then all the gear inside the truck, and the fridge, and the battery, and then the extra stuff like the suspension and everything else. I mean, you got to think that for a truck that's normally 4,000 pounds, I'd love to get this weighed and see what it is. Surprisingly, my gas mileage is still pretty good. Um, I think the 4 liter, I can't remember what it is specs off of, like just like a standard one that doesn't have any upgrades. But I get on the highway now, if I have my tires aired up, because I've got the compressor underneath the hood of the truck, and so I can air up my tires. So before I get on the highway, I'll air them up to like 38 psi or 35 or 36 psi instead of rolling around at like 30 or 25. And you do that, and it makes your truck roll much easier. And here at the lower elevation as well, I'm getting about 17 miles a gallon right now on the highway, and so that's not too bad. I thought I'd be down around 13. And when I was having my truck engine problems before the truck engine got replaced because my head gasket went out at 300,000 miles, So I just got the Jasper rebuilt engine, and it's worked really well. So I'm pleased with it. So anyway, so yeah, the gas mileage on there, I'm on about 17 right now, roughly. All right, let's see. Let me see. My banking places to use. What banking places do you use? Will be oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So this is a good question. Um, I actually just use a bank in Kansas, like our bank that is like our family bank in Kansas. Um, I do have the Cash App. I haven't got the card yet, but I do use the Cash App to buy Bitcoin and all that stuff, and I've got quite a bit of Bitcoin that I've accumulated. But anyway, so I am I just use the normal bank for that, and then what's nice is all of my income, like with YouTube and everything else, it just gets direct deposited into my account, and so I don't ever have to like go to a physical, address. I did have to go to a location when I set up the wire for the purchase the property, but other than that, like, and I went there. I hadn't been to the bank in forever, and like everybody had changed. I hadn't been in a physical location in Colorado for that bank for like 4 years, and I went in and I'm like, wow, there's no one here. Like everybody it was all new people. So I was like, mine's Brian. I've been a customer forever, and so I was like, I'm buying a place in Arizona, and then started talking to him. I was like, yeah, I was like, all these people are gone. I would go through the different people that were there. They're like, oh, we heard of those people, but we never met them. I was thinking, man, I've been gone a while. So, but I've been thinking about using the Cash App card because you can get the card from Cash App, and you can get stuff direct deposit in there. So if I wanted my YouTube income on a monthly basis, the commission to come in, I could have it sent there, which is kind of nice. I've also been thinking about just setting up an offshore account, and so I've been looking into Switzerland and also Cayman Islands just to have, I mean, kind of a backup. I mean, things here in the States are kind of crazy, and I just see all the corruption that's going on with everything. I mean, look at just I mean, look at what I'm going through with the healthcare system. Like Arizona's been awesome, but those assholes in Colorado and Leadville, they want me to pay the bill for ineffective treatment. I'm like, no, you guys were wrong. Like I'm not going to pay you. Like that's what the lawsuit would be about. Probably wouldn't get much in regards to a malpractice, just because there was not that much time that went between leaving there and then they're like, well, you got to wait for this GI appointment in Salida, and it was 3.5 months out. And I'm like, I don't have that much time. So I made plans to come down to Sedona, and so within 2 months, I got down to Sedona and got it taken care of. So I probably wouldn't be able to get a whole lot there. It might kind of be a waste of time, but I am not going to fucking pay them. Period. And the fact that they are still trying to screw me over and still trying to send me to collection and stuff like that, that's why I'm gonna make a video and stuff. Because 'cause I'm like, "Screw them. I'm gonna crucify them in the court of public opinion, and they can just pound sand. I don't give a shit." They don't sit there and try to do that stuff to me, and luckily, the thing is I don't use a credit system, so I don't care. I mean, I'll get reports, every once in a while, "Hey, your credit report's changed." I'm like, "Ah, somebody put something on my credit report." But it's like, it's frustrating, I think, to be in a system and, here in the States to where you've got, things like the healthcare companies that can say like, well, you owe us this money and no matter what, you better pay us. We're gonna fuck your credit up. And I think like that sucks for people that are still trying to play by the rules and everything. Like I don't feel like playing by the rules anymore because I'm tired of getting fucked over. And so that's why it's like, yeah, okay, well, I'll set up my own rules, and then if you do the right thing, like the Arizona, you know, healthcare professionals, as soon as I get a bill, I pay it right away. Like all the bills that I've got from them, the moment I get it, I get online, pay it. Those people in Leadville, I'm like, you didn't fix this. I'm not paying you shit. Like they told me, they're like, well, we thought at first it was a burst appendix. I'm like, why would you think that? I told you these symptoms have been going on for months. Like I told you it started up at like the early part of summer and then it just got worse. And now, I'm coming in because it's bad. And the thing is like all the doctors in Leadville, the gal that's like this general practitioner up there, I called her and I was like, "Hey, this is kind of what's going on." She's like, "Well, none of the facilities around here, like the local doctors' offices, have any way to test anything." She goes, "Even blood tests." She goes, "Everything we just send them to the ER in the hospital, so you got to go there." So that's why I went there, and that was another frustration too, is like the healthcare system in Colorado is so inept. Like, you would think these mountain towns have their shit together, but they don't. It's really janky. Like, I've lived in 3 mountain towns now in Colorado, and I love it there. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's like, once you realize, like, how the towns work and, like, the underside, like every mountain town has like these seedy undersides of like these families that have lived there forever that are just pieces of shit. And you get that everywhere, and you're like, man. And some towns are worse than others. Some towns are fine. Buena Vista is not fine. Like the local ranchers there, the ones that have been there a long time, man, they are so ass backwards. I don't think I've met a more inbred group of people. And those were the people that I'd be busting back there when I was doing the trail work, back before I got screwed over by Marcus. And so I was glad to leave that town. I mean, I was so glad to get out of there. We were to Crested Butte, and it was funny because Crested Butte's got a reputation for being corrupt, and they were like, "Man, we hear it's horrible over in BV." I'm like, "Yeah," because I worked for the town of Crested Butte. They're like, "We know we got our problems." We're like, "We hear horror stories about that area." I'm like, "Yeah." So, but Colorado as a whole, it's like, you would think their medical system would be somewhat sufficient because there's so much money coming in there. There's so much money coming in and out of there, but they don't invest in their medical facilities at all. Like Heart of the Rockies in Salida, they claim to have a GI unit. You know what their GI unit is? It's two doctors from Denver that drive in once a month for one day, and they see whoever's there, lined up for that time. Then they drive back to Denver and they come back the next month. That's their GI unit. That's pathetic. That's not a GI unit. Nobody's fucking no one's there. So it's just bullshit, And then for them to like, it's just lame. You sit there and you deal with all these health problems and all that stuff, and you go in there and you expect, like, hey, maybe they'll be on top of shit. Like I told the guy, I live in my truck full time. I purify water 100%. I don't get any tap water whatsoever. I use a pump to do it. I tell every doctor that when I go in there. Like if I had any doctor's visit over the last 6 years of being on the road, every time I would go in, I would tell them to start out and say, I live on the road full time. I cook all my food, outdoors, either over the fire or I catch it or whatever. And I purify all my water just to give them a heads up, like, hey, maybe there's something, in the way I'm living that could cause any of these things. Right over the dude's head. Oh, we think it was a burst appendix. I'm like, no, it wasn't. I looked at him like when he said that, like right as we were getting done, he's like, well, you don't have a burst appendix. And I'm like, why the fuck would he say that? I was thinking like, is this what he was testing me for the whole time? This guy's a fucking idiot. Like, pardon my language, but I'm just so irritated at the fact that like I suffered for like 2.5 more months. Like, you should have seen me in Sedona. There was this couple that saw me at Whole Foods. It was right before I went into the ER in Sedona, because I was like, I got to go back to the ER. I can't wait for this appointment in Salida, because I went down to Arizona to chill out, and I was going to go back to Salida for the appointment with the GI unit. That was 3.5 months out, which was ridiculous. And so I was down there, and this couple saw me at Whole Foods. They're like, how are you doing? And I couldn't even hardly talk. I was like, I'm not doing good. And I was like doubled over, and I was 100. By the time I went into the Leadville hospital, I was 143 pounds. By the time I got down to Sedona, I was 127. So you tell me during that 2-month period when I got fucked over by the Giardia more and wrecked my system and threw me into being anemic at that time, because I wasn't anemic before, but I was anemic when I got into Sedona. Tell me that didn't cause more damage. I mean, come on. And then for them to be like, well, you owe us that money because the treatment was sufficient. I'm like, it's like, you look at it and you're like, are you kidding? Like, this is so stupid. Like, you sit there and you have an internal review. It's like the police when they do their own review, or the banks when they do their own internal review, or when the government when they do their own internal review. No one, it's bullshit, And I just laughed at the lady. I was like, I don't know how to respond to that. Like, you think I'm dumb enough to fucking believe you? Like, that's stupid. So it's just, I don't know. Sorry, I go off, but it's like corruption like that drives me nuts, and I see it everywhere in the States, and that's why I've gone to such great lengths to like put distance between me and the system, because I really hate it. Like I like it makes me furious. It makes me to the point to where like I physically want to punch people, and I'm not that sort of person. Like, I don't go around thinking about hurting people, but when I see that sort of corruption, and when it's like so obviously and it's blatant, I'm like, no, like, I don't want to be part of this. So anyway, all right, let me get back here. Aaron hit, yeah, we call it the underside, the good old boy network in the South. That's what it is in Colorado too. And the problem is that, you got a lot of people, and I was one of these people, you got a lot of people thinking like living in the mountain towns are great. And it is on certain levels, but it's still a small town, and so it has those small town challenges. A lot of it is, it's expensive to buy property in Colorado, so the locals can't purchase it because the wages aren't high enough, unfortunately, for them to be able to do it. So it creates that level of animosity of like, screw the people that aren't from here that can afford the stuff that's in my backyard, and I understand. I mean, that's not a hard mindset to wrap your head around, but it just when that's the baseline of the community, like, and there's going to be problems. And it's like all the community pages on Facebook, back when I used to be on Facebook, all the community pages for every single mountain town, it's just nothing but infighting. And you're just like, damn, man, you would think living in this paradise that everything would be kosher, but it's not always like that. So, all right, let's see what else have we got. Yeah, out of office camping. When Mark and Teresa, when I had my business and the banks just didn't even care about what I was going through. I'm like, I have all these receivables, but these publicly traded companies keep jerking me around on payment, and they delay payment 60, 90 days, stuff like that. And here I am, the small guy carrying $50,000 in payroll. It's like, come on, this is a joke. And I go to the bank side, ask for help, and they didn't care in the least bit. And I thought, screw you guys. And same thing, I don't do any credit cards anymore, nothing. Everything's just cash. And everything's in savings. Like, I've got savings accounts that I have, but it's like I don't feel comfortable having them in the banks. It's like I'd like to take them out of there and go bury it on my property somewhere because I just don't trust the banks. So, all right, let's see what the super chat is. Forge from Freedom. Oh, thanks. Let's see. Having grown up in Europe, I can't stress how much better the healthcare over there is. Healthcare is broken. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It broke today. Yeah, yeah. It's just so bad here. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know how. Like, okay, so I have a friend of mine. Her daughter passed away from cancer, and she would have to fight with them every single month, the insurance companies, to get this life-saving, medication that their daughter needed. And they would always deny it, deny it, deny it. And then right at the last second where it would come up for that day for renewal, they would approve it. And I'm like, why are they fucking with them? Like, this person's, they're going through hell. And they screw, and the medication was $13,000 a month. And you would think that, there wouldn't be that many people siphoning off medical stuff to make a profit, but it's like the for-profit model of the human body in the United States is pathetic, and it's like, like I said, I'm all for good healthcare. The Northern Arizona healthcare system I'm in now is best experience I've ever had with healthcare. Really on top of it, very well organized. They're good stuff. But I tell you, the stuff in Colorado, man, they need to step it up. If I were to compare the two, I would say they're in 1980 and Northern Arizona is current. Like, it is so bad in Colorado. Everywhere I've been, I'm like, what am I going into, like, some back room speakeasy to get medical treatment? What the hell's going on here? Like, it's crazy. There's one dude in BV though that was good, Dr. Gibbs. He was the guy that when I burned my leg, he was FaceTiming with me because I couldn't come into town because I was snowed in at camp. He was FaceTiming with me on my phone, telling me what to do to dress the wound. And I was like, that's a solid doctor. So Dr. Gibbs in Buena Vista was a good guy. And but I can't really speak to having a good experience anywhere else. So, and I lived all over Colorado. So let's see what we got here. I am seriously considering moving to Panama. Oh, Leo. Yeah, dude. I have a friend whose wife is from Panama. They go down there all the time and they love it. They say it's incredible. Dollar goes real far down there. I've actually been thinking about like Ecuador and or Central America. Like, I love Costa Rica, but Costa Rica does have a little bit of a higher cost. Nicaragua's pretty cool. I've been to both. Also been down to Peru. Really like Peru, but that's a big country. If I did something, I'd go to Ecuador and go to like Quito and go to their downtown area and just hang out in the UNESCO World Heritage Area because I think that history down there is amazing. So, but it's just, the corruption here. It's like I get pissed off because I think like, okay, I read these reports about how 55 of the top companies in the United States don't pay income tax. I'm thinking, then why the fuck should I? Like, why should I foot the bill? I'm the little guy that's just trying to get by out here, just camping and stuff like that. And you want to put the screws to me, but then those people get the free pass. Like, that doesn't work for me anymore. And it's like, I don't get it. I would go in. So when I had my business in Denver, I'd pay $120,000 a year just in payroll tax, just in payroll tax. That's just one of the 4 big taxes that I had to pay on my little small business that I had. So I would go into the IRS, and their office was downtown at 19th and Broadway, or 20th and Broadway, right there in downtown Denver. And I would go down with my check, which was like $30,000 every quarter, and I'd let them have it for about 5 minutes. And I'd be like, "You guys are fucking over young people. You're just taking away their future. These tax policies are bullshit. You take my small business and put me through the screws. I got to pay a fortune just to try to maintain. And these assholes like Apple and Facebook and everybody else get a free pass, and you guys even give them tax breaks, and you give them money just for the hell of it. It's our money." I was like, "But you give it to them." I was like, "Here's your 30 grand. I'll see you in 3 months." And I did that every year for 5 years, or every quarter for 5 years. And I had the security guard that was down there at the IRS. He'd see me coming, and he'd be like, "Man, come here." Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why. But he would be like, "Man, he's like, I love it when I see you coming," because I'd go in there and I'd give him hell. And it was crazy because like I used to not do that. And I was in there one day, and this lady was just talking down to me. And I was like, I go, "Who the fuck do you think you are?" And she goes, "What?" And I go, "You're talking to me like I'm some piece of shit, and I'm here giving you $30,000. I said, "I don't have to do this." I said, "You know the crap I put up with employing 60 people at the same time?" I go, "This sucks." I said, "If I would have known what it takes to run a small business, I would have never done this, ever." I said, "But I'm in too deep now. Look at it." I said, "I've got, $50,000 line of credit, all this stuff." I said, "I can't stop now. I got to keep going." It's like the golden handcuffs. I said, "This is horrible." I said, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I worry about it. And I said, "If I make a mistake, it's on me. Heaven forbid you guys give us counsel." I said, "I didn't realize that I was filling out the I-9 forms wrong. You guys threatened me with $500 per field, and I had like 50,000 fields not filled out because you didn't ever tell me I needed that form." And I go, "How are we supposed to keep track of this stuff when the tax code is this long and you keep adding thousands and thousands more taxes to it per year, or lines to the tax code per year? You can't keep up with it." And I was like, this system is going to fail. It's going to crumble in and of itself. And it's like, that's kind of what we're seeing, I feel. So that's why living this way feels good. I'm like, well, at least I got that system between me. I'd love to get it to where I'd just be on the barter system, because it makes me furious just to even participate in this shit. Because, you think about it and you think like, well, okay, I'm going to pay taxes, and probably like, a good portion of that's going to go to fucking war. I don't want to go to war. Like, I'm tired of that crap. I'm tired of people looking at Americans and thinking that all we are is antagonistic people. It's a bunch of crap. Like, it's like we need to have like our leaders actually pay attention to us, and that does not happen on any front. So that's why I'm just like, giving the Heisman to everything and just getting the heck out. So, but all right, let's see what else have we got here. I totally went off there, so sorry. I can get going. So, all right. What have we got? Sierra, what you doing? She's still chilling. She's not quite up yet. What you got, baby girl? We're gonna do some hiking today. You gotta see what's up to the YouTube crowd. She's being modest this morning. I don't know. She's upset that I haven't given her too much attention yet. So, all right. But let's see here. Back to what we're up to this week. So, like I was saying earlier, we're gonna do truck camping all week, and maybe get back to the ranch by next weekend or something. And if I can get to that hiking trail, I'll check it out. It's supposed to go up to like 7,800 feet. It's supposed to go to like a remnants of the old Colorado Plateau area. There's like one section that broke off. There was like an area where a canyon was formed, and it left this other island in the sky, and that's where the hiking trail is. So I'm excited to check that out. They say, like I was saying on the Forest Service website, they said it is the most remote trail in Colorado. So yeah. Mark and Teresa, I'm reading a good book right now. I'm reading, let's see, where's it at? I actually pulled it out so I could show you all. And I have no, oh, it's underneath the computer. I'm reading House of Rain by Craig Childs. I'm not going too fast. I'm only this far right here. So I started it last week. But House of Rain, it's really good. It's about Chaco Canyon. And Craig Childs is, some people don't like him because he's really descriptive. Like, he goes into great lengths to like explain one little detail, but I like that because I think it creates a really good mental picture and makes the imagination, it kind of like coaxes your imagination along, and so he does a lot of stuff around New Mexico and also Utah and Colorado, and he lives near Crested Butte, I think. I think he's near the West Elk Mountains, so that's kind of Gunnison, Crested Butte area. Anyway, really good book. Really cool stuff about Chaco Canyon. It's interesting. This book talks about how there's only 650 skeletons ever found in Chaco Canyon, and Chaco Canyon has ruins the size of the Roman Colosseum. So that proves that people didn't live there full time. And what's interesting is the majority of the skeletons found were stacked like firewood, like cordwood, like this, in two big piles. So you got to think, like, why was that? Why did that take place? So some pretty interesting stuff in that book. So I definitely recommend checking it out. So, all right, let's see what else have we got. Let's see here. Brian, what kind of system do you have set up for Sierra when you have to leave her in the vehicle when there's high heat? So Sally, this is a good question. So a lot of people ask about what I would do with Sierra when it's high heat, and if it's really high heat, I wait until the evening time to go do something with if she has to stay in the truck. So I'll wait until the evening, or I'll go do it real early in the morning. And then I've got a fan, like I've got this little USB fan here, and I can just take this and plug it into the battery that sits right behind her, and just point it right on her so she gets nice and cool with that. Always park in the shade. Use the Reflectix on the front window. That way it keeps a lot of the radiation that's coming in to heat up the cab out of there. And I can typically go up to about 85 degrees with her in the back if I'm in shade like that with the fan going, and she's comfortable. So anything above that, though, it's not comfortable. And so I would use like nighttime, the coolness of nighttime to go run errands or something like that. All right, let's see. Let me see what else here. So sorry, I was kind of going off there for a while. Let me get back to these comments. So, let's look up. Yeah, Ray Leo, that sounds good, man. Let's look up. I'll probably be leaving here the first or second week of June to go to Colorado. So, still have some stuff I want to take care of here in Arizona. But yeah, let's stay in touch about that. I'm into your ranch. GA Yak Vision. Yeah, I'm with you, man. It's frustrating, and it's just like I didn't sign up for this. Like when I was a kid, I remember being all gung ho about going in the corporate world and doing my part, and I was all stoked the first time I paid taxes and everything. I'm like, yeah, I got my taxes done. I'm doing my part, and I'm like, I don't want to pay into this. This is the shit sandwich they're gonna give us? It's just too much crap. I don't get it, and I don't understand how they think that like we'll all put up with this crap. It's like we all got to rise up and just be like, yeah, you either get with the program or you can find somebody else for your field. You can find another ATM for your failed policies, because that's how I feel like they look at us as, just like we're ATM machines, and they just have one failed policy after the other. They just keep throwing our money at, and it just pisses me off. So, all right, let's see here. Let's see here. I think that I'm a big fan of the fire movement. Let's go ahead. Yeah, I think I think a lot of things. Like I think about my generation. I'm 46, and so we were kind of sold, the American marketing machine was really getting ramped up when we were in college, and it was buy a new car every 2 years. As soon as you can upgrade to that bigger house, do it. And consume, and you're defined by what you own and all that bullshit. And a lot of people my age have been like, yeah, that does not work, and I'm one of them. I mean, I fell prey to that message, and I had too big of a place and way too much stuff and big old super nice luxury car and just dumb stuff. And I'm like, I just look around, I'm like, none of this stuff's making me happy, and I sold all of it and just got rid of everything. And since I've done that, I've been so much more happy, as far as I can go wherever I want. I can pack up my truck, especially in the summertime when I'm rolling kind of light. I can pack this thing up in 5 minutes and just go somewhere else. And so it's so nice to be able to do that every day. And just, I got my house with me. I get to kind of a remote section like where I'm at here, set up the camper, make some coffee, and just kind of just chill. And it's like life on my terms. And I'm still right on the edge of connectivity with cell service. So I can reach people and get work done, but I just don't have to be bothered. And I can tell you that's probably the only thing that saved me during this time. Because if I would have had to be in a stressful environment during COVID and all that stuff, I don't think I would have fared well at all. Because the stuff that I went through in the corporate world that pushed me out here, it's like whenever I get exposed to that again, it just brings up all those bad feelings, and I got addicted to prescription pills because of it. I was addicted to Xanax and Klonopin, the stuff that took Jordan Peterson down, the Klonopin. That's what I was addicted to. It was bad. So, but it's just, it was just, I think what it was, I just lost faith, because the system, I'm like, this is a joke. It's like, it's not It's not what they say it is. And why should I be a part of this? And why should I sit here? Like I remember talking to my friends. I'm like after like the third week of working in the corporate world, I'm like, I'm gonna give away the best years of my life working to make somebody else's dreams come true, and all I'm gonna be left with is a broken body to be able to do what I want to when I'm able to retire. I'm like, this is not gonna work. And I remember for like the first month in the corporate world, I had this sinking feeling in my stomach. I'm like, I've been had. Like this is a scam. Like this isn't what I wanted. I want to go do what I'm doing now. I want to like live free, and I'm making a good living, but I'm doing it on my terms, and I don't have any expenses. Like really, I don't have any children or like big commitments. I don't have anything like that. And so it's like, why not just go do what you want to do? And it's so funny how the system tries to keep you down and like, oh, you can't go do that. It's like, well, who says I can't? Maybe you can't do that because you don't want to, but I can. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just crazy. So that's why during COVID, I like, if you see all the videos during COVID, I never talked about it. Like I wanted to try to be positive because I knew people were going through a ton of shit. And I was like, man, I couldn't imagine the pressure cooker in some of those towns. That'd just be crazy, just like the environment. And so I'd always try to make my videos real mellow, and it was hard because I was really sick. I mean, you look back at those photos of me, especially the one I posted in the community section here the other day, like the last year to this year. I didn't realize how bad I looked at that time. So I look back on it now, I'm like, man. And then to be sick during COVID, I'd walk into grocery stores and like people would distance. I'm like, hey, this is a positive, like, I don't mind looking like this if people like part the Red Sea for me. So, but it was tough. It was pretty bad. So, oh, cool. What's up? So if you guys haven't checked out Hannah and Anil's channel, they're van lifing over in Sweden. Well, they're in Sweden right now, and they're making their way up to the Arctic Circle. And I shared one of their videos on the on the community section. So I just put their stuff up in the live chat there. Make sure to check them out. They got good stuff. Really mellow. And I love. I just love seeing other people, especially in other parts of the world. I've always wanted to go to Sweden. I've just never been. I've never been to any of the Scandinavian countries, but I love to see how, like in their video, especially the one that I shared on my channel, I like the 5 minute mark. They're talking about how like there's no stresses out here. Like it's all seems like it's a world away, and that's I feel that all the time. That's the reason why I'm out here all the time. Is I love being out here, and like I think that this keeps me sane because if I didn't have this and couldn't retreat to something like this, I probably would lose my mind. And I'm not kidding. Like I'm not like I would legitimately lose my mind. So having public lands, like I'm really critical of our federal government, but we got the public lands right. And that's why I like the money that I do make additionally above and beyond just the YouTube stuff, like anything of those sponsors with Skillshare and everything, I give all that to conservation. And so, I mean, last month I gave $3,500 to conservation, and every month it just depends on how much I get in from that. That's what goes to those people. So I gave 1,000 to Bears and 2,500 to keep Sedona beautiful, and I'll continue to do that because I think it's that like we need to keep these places open, and the way to keep them open is to make sure that the groups that are taking care of them are funded properly. Because as soon as the Forest Service or BLM starts to notice that a place starts to fall into big decline, a lot of times they don't have any choice but to shut it down, and let it regrow. And then a problem is when you let it when you shut it down, a lot of times they won't reopen it, and so therefore you just lose it, And so I'm like, well, I would rather give my money to that than the government than the government, honestly. So if I can offset taxes by giving money to conservation, I'll definitely do that. I'd much rather money go there. So let's see what else we got here. Cheers from Colorado, Rocky Mountain life prospecting. My best friend is about. Oh, cool! That's awesome. I'd be curious where you're, like generally speaking, where y'all are at. I don't want you to give away the location. I'm planning on coming back to Colorado. Probably say 3 to 4 weeks, I would think. But I keep saying that. I said that like 3 or 4 weeks ago too. I was like, oh, I'm going to Colorado in a month, and I'm still here in Arizona. But I'm excited to go. I'd probably go to Central Colorado again, and South Central Colorado, and then Southwestern Colorado, and just fly fish all summer. So, oh, Hannah Neil, I love your channel. You all do a really good job of capturing this lifestyle, and I like your editing. You do a really, really nice job with that. So, all right. This is the exact reason I sold my place in Northern AZ. It's crazy what we will do. Life's supposed to be Jay Rich. Cool, man. Hope you're. Well, I was curious if you rolled to a different area of the country. So, man, yo, what's up, James? Let's see. We'll put this up here. Your bids and last year goes through AZ lifetime. Oh, cool. I think that I appreciate that, man. I was trying to put out as much content as I could, and I was really sick. Like I'd do a video, and then I'd lay down in my truck for a day, and, and then I'd go do a new video, and then I'd lay down in my truck for a day. So it was pretty tough, but it's getting better. So, all right, let's see. What you got, girl? You can see her showing some signs of life. Oh no, we're going back down. Usually, when she wants to get up, she'll get up like that, and then she'll stretch up, and then she'll do a little downward dog thing, and then she'll go stand by the door, and then we're good to go for the day. So, sun is. Let me show you what we're looking at here. So, looking outside, way off in the distance, way off there. You can't really see it, but that's Humphreys Peak next to Flagstaff. And then I'm here, all these huge trees out here. These are all the ponderosa pine. There's aspens right there, and then ponderosa pines over there. So I want to get up the drone here in a little bit and fly them up in the trees. There's some pretty big ones over here. I mean, the massive one. Let's see, is it over there? No, I think it's down over that way. It's just like one of the biggest trees I've ever seen. So golden. Oh, you saw snow above 9K. Nice. All right. Let's see here. I wonder how I left Colorado, let's see, in January. I think y'all got pounded in the spring. So laying down. Yeah. No, Jay Gannon, yeah, schoolies are really comfortable, but the problem with some of those vehicles is you can't get to the same spots, you know? And so like my truck, the reason why I built this small truck out like I did is because I like to go fly fishing and I want to get to the really hard to reach trail heads so I can get in even further. And so I've got friends in schoolies, and I'm all, it's nice to chill in there and hang out. And they're always like, "Man, I wish you could go. I wish I could go where you go." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I wish I had the comfort, you know." So there's no perfect rig. It's whatever is good for you. But a schoolie for me wouldn't cut it just because they're not 4-wheel drive. Um, they're smaller, so they're a little bit more mobile with the dually, but it's not even close to my truck here. The nice thing about having this Tacoma is number one, it's not a full size truck, so not quite as big as the Tundras. The new Tundras are just way too big. They're enormous. Um, but the Tundra or the Tacoma, the second gen is pretty small, and then with the small bed here, the only 5-foot bed, it's basically like a big four-wheeler. So I've got it jacked up, and I've got the front bumper, for a better angle to get into stuff, and then the departure angle on the back here with the high rise rear bumper that I cut off a foot on the back quarter panel, so that's a really good departure angle. So if I need to go out and go real steep, I can do it. I won't drive the back. I can get most places, and with the locker and everything. I mean, the only thing I would really do now is maybe lift it up higher because I'm only running 33-inch tires. Maybe do a 6-inch lift instead of a 3-inch lift and run 35s. And maybe do a bead lock on the tires because my tires, my wheels look like they have a bead lock on them, but those are poser bead locks. Those aren't real bead locks. They just look like it. So it's kind of a hack. But if you were for those who don't know what a bead lock is for a tire, it's the way you put a tire in onto the frame, and there's a lock that goes over the side of it that locks it down to where you can deflate that down to like 5 psi and it won't slip on the frame. So it's really good for rock crawling. So that's about the only upgrade that I do to my truck, really, I think. But yeah, schoolies are fun. I like also too. I just love to see like when the schoolies have the little stove in them. I think that's really cool looking. So, but it's funny, Jake. I don't know if you're trying to be a smartass or not, but life of laying down. I only lay down when I'm sleeping. I'm actually out all the time camping or jamming on trails and fly fishing and stuff like that. And that was another thing too. I thought I only need a place to sleep. I'm never in here, so I don't know. I do kind of question the people that build out a big vehicle just to go sit in it in the backcountry. It's like you're in the backcountry. Get outside, you know. So doesn't make any sense to me. But all right, let's see here. Let's see. Love your attitude, Brian. Totally agree. Fight to see. Amazed appeal for such a. Yeah, I know, Elizabeth. It was crazy to see that. I still see people during this time like racking up debt and stuff. I'm like thinking, wow, I don't know. The uncertainty right now is that would lead me to be a little bit financially conservative, I think. And I just don't know if I don't know. I think that right now spending a lot of money is probably not the best idea. Like I saved up cash. I saved up cash for the last 2 years to buy that ranch, and and then it's all cash deal, and there's no debt or anything. And I don't have any debt, and I think it's important to get rid of that because then it gives you flexibility. You have to think that if you're not beholden to any monthly payment or anything like that, you can ramp up your spending if you want, or you can bring it way down. And I can live on as cheap as like $600 a month, and that includes car insurance and health insurance. And it's real, real thin. You kind of have to just go to like 2 campsites a month, and that's it, and just stay 2 weeks at each spot. But you can do it. Or, if you want to big pimp it and go to a hotel room every night and tour the country in style, you can spend a fortune. So it just depends on what you want to do. But what's nice is that I feel as though it's scalable, and so um, that was one thing I looked for in the corporate world when I was looking for a small business. Is I wanted a business that was scalable, and I thought I had found it, but the problem was the clients didn't pay. Clients wouldn't pay on time, and so it just screwed up my cash flow. But the nice thing about living out here is this is totally scalable. So I like doing everything just like fly fishing and stuff like that. So once you buy the gear, you don't need to buy it again. And so there's a one-time investment. And so I figure, well, if you're going to invest in it once, you might as well get the really good stuff because it'll probably last longer and perform better. And then you don't have to replace it. So anyway, let's see. We'll do about another 20 minutes of live streaming here. So let's see what else. The simple hick. Hey Brian, who were you inspired by the most when you first went? Oh, this is a great question. So the simple hick. This is this was actually a guy that was living in Boulder at the time, but now he lives in Crested Butte. And there was an app called Yonder, and it was this like it was like Instagram for the outdoors kind of. And all the Colorado people, when we first got on there, would get together with the owner that would fly in from Vermont, and we'd do hikes, around and stuff like that. Well, there was this guy who was a polar explorer, Eric Larson, and I don't know if you all know who he is. Let me put up his website real quick. So hang on one second here. EricLarson.com. Oh, what's not? It's ELExplore. I think it's here it is. Okay, so I'll put this up in the deal here. All right, sorry. So here's the website for Eric. And so he's a polar explorer. And for Yonder, I had organized a camping meetup at one of the lakes I like to fly fish at. And so he's like, hey, I'll come. I was like, oh, okay, cool, And so he came with a photographer and one other person. I can't remember what that dude did. But anyway, they rode my truck up and stuff like that. And Eric was talking to me, and he was telling me, he's like, yeah, he's like, he was just talking about like, what are you up to? And I was like, oh, nothing. I'm getting ready to move into my truck. And he's like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I was like, yeah, I just kind of got tired of the corporate world. I like to fly fish a bunch and stuff like that. And I didn't really know his story. And he started talking. This was about a 45-minute four-wheel up there. He started talking, and he was talking about how when he was 35 or 37, he's like, I was in my parents' basement. I didn't have any money. He's like, my outdoor career wasn't going anywhere. He's like, and I just figured, he's like, I had to either really dedicate everything to it or I had to do something else. And he's like, so that's when I realized, he's like, for people that are doing this, he's like, you can't go half-ass it. He's like, you can't half-ass it. You have to go full bore, and you have to put everything in it. And you have to have a strategy. And his strategy was at first not using oxygen, because he didn't use oxygen on Everest, and he didn't use it on the North or South Pole. And he was the only person I think at the time, he was the only person ever in the same calendar year to do Everest, North Pole, and South Pole all in the same 365 days without oxygen and unsupported. So he carried all of his own food the whole time too. And dude's just a badass. I mean, he's like, genetically, I think he's just built for it. He just loves the cold and can just hike forever, you know what I mean, forever, and never gets tired. And but it was interesting because he was telling me, he was like, you know, at the time he was doing these expeditions and stuff, but he's like, I had no money and no one, like nothing was going my way. And he's like, I just committed to it. And he's like, I really dedicated it and just threw everything at it and gave myself like a 2-year window. He's like, and things started to work. And he's like, you know, there's lots of flashes in the pan. He's like, but you got to stick with it and be with it for long haul. So that's actually what my strategy was when I got out here. I was like, well, I'll just stay out the longest, you know. Like I see a lot of people going out, but they'll go out for like a year and then they'll go back. And I was like, well, I'll just stay out the whole time and figure it out. And I think that's what kind of set me apart is people would say like, you know, I would see comments on other channels and it would make me feel great because I didn't know, I wouldn't know if people were watching my videos really. I mean, I'd see the views, like you see 50,000 views and you think, okay, well, I don't, probably nobody around here. That's, you just kind of think that, you know, but it is the people that are around there. And so it was kind of interesting. I'd see people on other channels say like, I saw off-grid backcountry adventures out camping. I'd be like, oh, that's kind of cool. They're excited to see me. Like that's neat. And then like, you know, other people, you know, off-grid backcountry adventures, that guy stays out, you know, he's been out for years. Like he never goes back to a house. He doesn't have a house. And so I was like, okay, cool. That's working. So that was my strategy. And my strategy initially when I first started doing YouTube was just, hey, I'm going to put some videos up for my family and friends to check out. I never thought I'd make money on it ever. So, because I didn't think people would tune into like a 40-year-old guy with the balding hair pattern, you know, like out there camping full time. So, but hey, here we are. so, so let's see. All right. Sir William goes, hey, what's up, Sir William? How you doing, bud? Daniel saying, good morning, bro. Back to you, Daniel Sante. Let's see, Lyle being a good morning from the Navajo Nation. Oh, right on, Lyle. No, good morning back to you. Let's see, Dave Berkowitz really enjoys videos. First one. Oh, right on. Thanks for tuning in, Dave. Yeah, I plan on doing a lot more of the live streams this summer from the tailgate. I'd like to. Oh, if I go, maybe tonight I'll go camp at a really badass spot. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do tonight. I think I'll go try to find that ruin this morning, and then I'll go try to find this badass spot tonight. If I can get to the spot tonight, I'll do a live stream from this lookout area. It's unreal up there. Oh, excuse me, got the hiccups. And one of the coolest places I've ever been. So if I can do that, I will. So again, redefining freedom, Gen X style. That's right, man. So, but yeah, I mean, I would say for people that are interested in getting in this lifestyle, one of the things you could do to really help yourself out when you're out here and to make the experience a lot of fun and not stressful is to wipe out your debt and just downsize. And, you know, getting rid and selling all your stuff, you can raise a lot of money like that pretty fast if you sell all of your personal items, like, you know, couches and stuff like that you're not going to obviously bring with you on the road. Because what I did was I initially, when I hit the road, I was like, oh, I'm going to keep my bed because I had this real nice bed. I'm going to keep my bed in like a chest or drawer and a desk and a couple other things. And I thought, after a year of like $100 a month for keeping it, I'm like, why the hell am I keeping this? I'm going to stay out on the road for years. Like, I'll just get a different bed when that time comes around. So I donated my bed and all my furniture and just got rid of it. So, let's see here. What else have we got? Have you been camping in northern New Mexico? Yeah, so I really like northern New Mexico. And I also like southern New Mexico too. I actually like all of New Mexico. I just haven't spent much time around Albuquerque just because I don't like being near the larger towns. But northern New Mexico is great. I like Jemez Springs. I like to go to San Antonio Hot Springs by Jemez Springs. I like Chaco Canyon. Chaco Canyon's amazing. I've not done much up by Farmington or Aztec. I do want to check out the Aztec National Monument, those ruins. Those are supposed to be pretty incredible. And then in southern New Mexico, I really like Silver City. Silver City, New Mexico. If you haven't been to Silver City, New Mexico, check out this website. City in New Mexico. You'll be floored when you see this picture of like the main picture on their site here that pulls up. This is in southern New Mexico, in the middle of the desert. There's this island in the sky that goes up to like 6,000 feet, and that's where this city is located. It's like 10,000 people. There's a little college there. The downtown area is all historical. It's a really neat town. All the area north of it is the Gila Wilderness area, and there's a road that drives all the way to the Gila National Monument, the cliff dwellings in there. And then on the way up, there's all these great hikes. There's fishing back there. There's fly fishing that's amazing along the Gila River. The Gila River is beautiful, and the Gila Wilderness Area goes up to like 100, or I'm sorry, like to like 10,500 feet or something like that. So it goes pretty high. There's a bunch of hot springs back in there you can hike to. So it's a cool area. So oh, I've not been to Chama yet. So but I like all of New Mexico. I've also been over to Zuni and been over there with my friend Kenny Botecki gave us a private tour of a lot of the ruins out there. So it was pretty impressive. Some ruins over there go way back. I mean, like 6,000 BC and stuff like that. It's nuts. So peach trees. Okay, so this is a good question here. A lot of people ask how to find good campsites in the backcountry. And honestly, the majority of the camps, actually all the campsites that I found that I love that I go back to have all been found by me just driving 4x4 trails and driving roads. Because like I try to look for certain things. One thing I really look for, and one thing I stress to people, is to make sure you're camping in an area with healthy trees around you, because some of these trees, you get into like some of the pine beetle killer areas and stuff like that. Those trees are real brittle, and if a stiff wind comes through, those trees could fall over onto your vehicle and trap you inside it. You do not want that. And so I definitely think that being mindful of your surroundings when you're setting up camp is something to do. So that's it's like that one feature that I look for in camp is getting harder and harder to find in Colorado, because most of the Colorado forests are getting hit with pine beetle kill. And so you get in there and you start looking around. Like there's a lake that I love to go fly fishing at, and I'm like, man, if it ever catches on fire up here, I'll have to jump in the water and just try and hope that I don't get burned up, because like the whole forest will go up immediately. So it's what you doing, girl? She's licking her arms here. I'm wondering if she's got something wrong. Oh no, she's good. She's cleaning herself. So, but like the websites like freecampsites.net or all those things, you got to think like if you're looking at them, everybody else is looking at them too. So you may, like they're a good resource in a pinch if you need a place to go, but I wouldn't use that for like trying to find an ideal spot. What I would do is if you find an area where it says like free campsites, or an area that's on free campsites on net, go to that area, because there's probably other areas around it that you can camp in that aren't listed on the internet. And so that's true with campgrounds too. Like if you ever go to an area where there's a campground, like a national forest campground, don't stay in the campground, because like usually right down the streets of Forest Service Road, just go pull in there. There's a better spot. So, I just tell people like you can use those as anchor points to seek out new campsites. But you got to think, if you're using an app to where a lot of other people have been to it, you might not have a good experience. So. All right, let's see here. What else have we got? Silver City is headed gym of consciousness. Chiricahua National Monument, just to the west. Easy. Yeah, I'd like to go to Chiricahua. I've not been there yet, so I want to go check that out. Emilio, thank you. Yeah, we're doing good today. We're just chilling here. Sierra's still sleeping. What's up, girl? You want to go outside? The ears came up when I said that. We may get out here in about another 5 minutes. So, all right. Let's see here. Good new locals like you have done. Thank you. Yeah, you bet. Peach trees. That's what I do. So, but like I said, you can use those spots. If you're unfamiliar with an area, just use the spots on like freecampsites.net as like a starting point, and then just kind of look out from there. Another thing too is that if you go to the Forest Service, if you're on Forest Service land and you're close to the ranger station, you can always go there and ask them for a motor vehicle use map. They call them MVUMs, MVUM, motor vehicle use map. And the nice thing about the motor vehicle use maps are that if you ask the Forest Service people that are manning the front desk there, just say, hey, I'm kind of looking for this sort of camping and was wondering if you had any recommendations. They'll tell you. Like it's amazing how many people don't go in there and ask for information. Like there was this gal in Slide. I was like, I will tell anybody the most dope campsites, and no one ever asks ever. And I'm like, really? She's like, no one ever comes in here. I'm like, well, that's crazy. She's like, we have all these maps. They're free for everybody to use. She's like, I will gladly talk to someone. No one ever comes in. So it's something to think about. So 10 times out of 10, they're helpful. Yeah, they're really good in there, and they'll tell you the spots. Like they'll say, I'll go in there and say, hey, are there any cool waterfalls? Yeah, here's the best one. Okay, cool. Thanks. Like it really cuts down your time of getting to know an area. So I'd recommend going in there and seeing what's up. And then a lot of times too, they have like cool stickers you can buy and little, they have shirts and stuff like that. So, um, it's good to know. And on top of it too, they'll keep you informed with any fire restrictions. So like right now here, we're starting to get stage 1 fire restrictions, which means that you can still have a campfire in like a metal container, but you can't have them just out in the back country. And so, you just, it's good to know that information. That way you don't get popped with a fine or something like that. But typically what they'll do is as soon as the fire ban comes out, they'll roll around and just give everybody a courtesy heads up. Just be like, hey, just a heads up. We had to put this in place because it's getting dry out. Just don't have any campfires going forward. So they're always pretty cool about that. So peach trees. Oh, peach trees. Do I save my spots to a map for later? Sometimes, but a lot of it is I just remember where they're at because I'll go there, and if it's a really great spot, I'll be like, oh, this spot's badass, And what I do is I try to have like a rotation that I do throughout the year. Like circle up through Colorado, then go through Utah, then Arizona, and then come to New Mexico, and like kind of make circles, and that way it's easy for me to like really get to know an area, and then I can within that area I can really start to do like micro circles throughout it and get to know that whole area. And I was thinking last night, I was like, man, I've got like literally as far as driving time area, probably from Western Kansas. I know a ton of places to camp in Western Kansas that are actually really nice, all the way to like Southern California, and I've got spots everywhere in between that I know I can pull off that are good spots. But that's almost 7 years of just driving around constantly, because when I first hit the road, I didn't have this data plan. Like I didn't have the unlimited data, and so I had a cell phone that I'd use the data plan to run the business that I still had in Denver. But the business was only on the weekends, so I spent my weekdays just out rolling around on Forest Service trails. I'm like, well, I got to get to know the area, so let's start rolling around. And so I just drive for like 8 hours a day and just find cool campsites and just keep four-wheeling. And that's how I was able to really get to know all these areas. And then now it's nice because I mean, some areas are getting pinched off with a lot of people, but a lot of stuff is still open. A lot of stuff still hasn't been hit, and it's that I have to lend that to like the capability of my truck. The area where the 4x4 trails start, you'll see a lot of the two-wheel drive vehicles congregate there that can't get on the really gnarly trails, because obviously mechanically it can't work. But you have to think like if you can get on those trails and get back in here, that's why I have like a small sleeping area for me. I'm like, I don't mind, I can get back to those areas and then go hike till sundown and then hop in here and crash and then get up and go again. So I kind of prefer to be outdoors all day. And it's nice to be able to get back in there. So, all right, let's see. Where is your favorite spot to camp, Jackie? Oh gosh, it really depends. It's I think it depends on the time of year. I'd have to say some of the favorite areas are Sedona, though. I mean, some of the areas around here, God, it's like another planet. Like the Red Rocks and like, especially if you can get it during snow. Like I was here 2.5 years ago or 2 years ago when they had that 4-foot snow dump in Flagstaff and 2 foot down in Sedona, and I was camping in Sedona. I woke up in the morning and my tarp, everything was like really dark around me. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Because the whole tarp had collapsed around me with the snow. So it was crazy. But that area is beautiful. And there's so much terrain. And even though it gets hit with a lot of people, if you get out far enough, there's not anybody running around. So okay, so someone was asking, how do you find the ranger stations? So you can either go on Forest Service website, just Google Forest Service. It's like usfs.gov or something like that, I think is the Forest Service website. You can look on there, or whenever you get to wherever you're at, if you're going to like a certain area in Colorado like Leadville, just type in ranger station Leadville, Colorado, and it'll pull up the nearest station. Typically, for example, in Colorado, if you're looking at a section like Leadville, Buena Vista, Salida, and then you go down to the next county, Saguache, and then the little town of Saguache down there, you got a ranger station in Leadville. You don't have one in Buena Vista. There's nothing there. Salida, you have a big ranger station, and then you have one in Saguache. So they're spaced out about 100 miles apart. And those ranger stations there. Then if you go east, there's a ranger station in Pueblo and also in Canyon. And Canyon City is about another hour that way. So they're spread out like that. BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, they have ranger stations as well, but they're not as plentiful as the Forest Service. The Forest Service has a bigger budget. So Just heads up. All right, let's see here. Rocky Mountain Life prospecting. Do you ever do any gold panning? I've not yet, but I know some areas where people do that, and so um, I would like to get into it eventually. Excuse me. Right now, I still have a limited amount of space that I'm working with for storage, so I probably won't be tackling any new hobbies right now. But once I get the new place and totally dialed in and all that stuff, then I can store things there when I roll about, and then take different stuff with me that I want to start out with, like maybe a motorbike with me one time to go ride trails, and then also some gold panning stuff and all those things. So Arizona's a very pretty state. I like Wyoming color myself. Yeah, Jackie. I like, nice thing about Wyoming is that a lot of people say like, oh, Colorado's so crowded. I'm like, just go to Wyoming. That's the least populated state. And so, well, one of them, I think. Is it the least populated? No, it is the least populated state. I think got the lowest population there. So anyway, I say go to Wyoming because they got killer terrain up there and good fishing, all that stuff. So all right, let's see here. Google Pacific National Forest on the website. Will listen. Yeah, so really, that's good information, everybody. Sounds good. Okay, cool. Well, looks like the sun's starting to come up here, so we're gonna go ahead and get up, get our day going. But I just want to say what's up to everybody. Wanted to do a little live stream this morning. We were kind of sitting here, and I thought, well, while we're waiting for it to warm up, we'll say what's up to everyone. So we're gonna get cranking and gonna go check out the ruin today, and then hopefully get to that badass camp spot tonight. If the campsites, if I can get there, we'll do a live stream. So let's see. One more question here. Where is the best food that you've been? I'll have to get back to you on that one. I don't know. I don't know. I cook everything myself. I don't really go out to eat much, to be honest with you. Man, I'm a big fan of pizza, and there's a Forget About It pizza in Dewey, Arizona, I think is what it is. That's about the best pizza I've ever had in my life. Um, let's see what else. Kansas City has some of the best barbecue I've ever had. Um, I don't know. I'll have to think. Let me get. We'll cover that on the next live stream. So, all right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Y'all have a great day, and we'll catch up with you all on the next live stream. So, have a good one.